CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by CBS Health.
I'm Cammie McCormick. The Supreme Court has ruled against the Trump administration over deploying National Guard troops in the Chicago area.
Declined to lift a lower court's order blocking the federalized troops, holding that the administration hadn't shown it was authorized to federalize the Guard, which is only allowed when the president is, quote, unable with the regular forces to execute the laws of the United States.
CBS's Nicole Skaga, a district judge, had blocked the deployment, and an appeals court had also refused to step in. The economy grew more than expected in the third quarter. Analyst Charles Lieberman.
The increase in exports, the decline in imports, had to be made up by domestic production. And so going forward, that's promising for the continued growth of the economy.
Another economic report showed consumer confidence is lower. The latest release of Jeffrey Epstein files totals more than 11,000. Many mention President Trump. But Scott McFarland reports it's the way these files are being released that continues to anger survivors.
This is becoming as much a story and a short process as it is about the records. This piecemeal, casual way of releasing the records is infusing the criticism of the administration and how it's handling matters, that it's not giving all the records at once as it was required to do under the federal law.
A federal judge has put on hold a new Texas law that required apps to verify ages of users. Chris Fox reports.
U.S. District Judge Robert Pittman blocked the Texas App Store Accountability Act from becoming law until a full hearing of the merit of the case. State Senator Angela Paxton's bill requires app stores to verify users' ages and obtain parental consent for those under 13.
In the real world, minor children are not signing contracts, but in the digital world, they do this every single day.
Attorneys for the Computer and Communication Industry Association argued the act violated free speech rights. Texas is expected to appeal the decision. Chris Fox for CBS News, Austin.
There's a powerful series of storms aiming for California just ahead of the holiday. Meteorologist Zoe Mintz.
A lot of rain is heading to California, and that rain is only going to get heavier as that low pressure system, that storm system, develops offshore. It will be arriving late tonight across central and northern California, and only getting heavier down near Los Angeles into the overnight hours and waking up early tomorrow morning, where waves of rain will be in place.
There is a threat of flooding and mudslides along with strong winds. On Wall Street today, stocks finished higher. The Dow Jones Industrial's up 80 points. The Nasdaq was higher by 133 points. This is CBS News.
Through trusted relationships and national reach, CVS Health is uniquely positioned to simplify care. Learn more at cvshealth.com/investor day.
Chicago's news, traffic, and weather station, News Radio 105.9 and WBBMNewsRadio.com.
4:03, it is Tuesday, Christmas Eve, the 23rd day of December. Thanks for joining us this afternoon. I'm Lisa Fielding. It doesn't feel like Christmas. We've got temperatures in the 50s right now. 50 degrees at O'Hare, mostly cloudy skies. That's the story for the rest of this afternoon, and a warmer than normal Christmas Eve into Christmas Day and into the weekend. The AccuWeather 5-day forecast coming up at 4:15. But first, the latest on the ongoing budget stalemate. The city of Chicago will avoid a potential government shutdown at the end of the year, but that's not because Mayor Johnson signed the budget approved by the city council over his objections. WBBM political editor Jeff Buckholz tells us why from City Hall.
The mayor stood in front of progressive aldermen and allies outside his office on the 5th floor here to celebrate the passage of a budget that includes much of his agenda.
We secured 98.4% of what we wanted in this budget.
But he says he will not sign it.
I don't want to give a signal to the people of Chicago that I support what I believe is one of the most detrimental and immoral aspects of this budget.
That would be the aspect calling for the city to sell off debt for things like unpaid parking tickets and ambulance rides. The mayor claims that could prey on poor and working class people. He did sign an executive order spelling out what and how debt can be collected. But without his signature or his veto, the budget passed by aldermen takes effect automatically. We're at City Hall. Jeff Buckholz, News Radio 105.9. WBBM.
And the Supreme Court has rejected a bid by the Trump administration to deploy National Guard members here to the Chicago area. The decision delivers a setback to President Trump in his effort to use federalized troops in Illinois to ensure enforcement of federal immigration laws. In the argument, the Trump administration had urged the Supreme Court to allow the extraordinary move over the objection of Illinois' Democratic Governor J.B. Pritzker, arguing the federal courts cannot second-guess the president's decision to call the National Guard into federal service. A Kane County chiropractor is hit with a civil lawsuit after he was already facing federal charges stemming from videotaping more than 100 patients.
Dr. David Hansen of Hansen Family Chiropractic in Batavia is facing a civil lawsuit after two victims said they were unwillingly recorded in his office. Back in November, Dr. Hansen was charged with felony child pornography counts and unauthorized video recording of a minor. Back in November, Dr. Hansen was charged with felony child pornography counts and unauthorized video recording of a minor. Investigators say they searched Hansen's home and found more than 180 recordings coming from the Batavia Chiropractic's office. Now, Kane County State's Attorney's Office says they received more than 1,500 calls and emails to a tip line for potential victims of Hansen Family Chiropractic. Dr. David Hansen is in custody and is due in court in January. Glenn Marshall, News Radio 105.9, WBBM.
3 years in prison handed to a woman who threw a Molotov cocktail at her neighbor's Logan Square home in what they say was a hate crime.
Anna Hernandez admitted she threw the incendiary device on her neighbor's porch because they're from Venezuela and she wanted them to leave. The U.S. Attorney's Office says that was part of her guilty plea earlier this year to a federal hate crime charge of unlawfully interfering with housing rights.
Traffic and weather together on the 8s. Here's Neil Fiorito.
We'll start on the tollways this time. A pretty big backup on the Tri-State northbound passing Ogden to 290. You have a crash there. The right lane's closed. 3 left lanes are open for you. Tri-State southbound slow in spots from the Bensenville Bridge to Ogden and I-80 to the Lincoln Oasis. On the Ronald Reagan Tollway, I-88 eastbound traffic heavy from Route 83. Hitting on the northbound Tri-State ramp. We had a crash there at one time. Also, that should be gone from what we're hearing here in the traffic center. Also a delay on 355. That's the Veterans Tollway southbound. Army Trail to before Butterfield. Backups along I-80 westbound from US 30 to Richards. Earlier stalled semi has been cleared from the roadway. It's on the right shoulder per tipster Bernie, who called us here on the WBBM Mercedes-Benz of Hoffman Estates traffic tip line. That's 855-780 Road. Some delays in northwest Indiana on 8094 westbound, making your way through Gary and from the state line onto the Bishop Ford. Travel times on your expressway starting north along the Edens, 23 in, 18 minutes outbound. On the Kennedy out, 39 to Montrose, about the same in the express lanes. Hour 3 to head out to O'Hare. Coming inbound on the Kennedy, heavy in spots of the River Road toll to Diversey. Traffic looks okay from the Wintrust mural in spots through downtown. Again, about 40 minutes to drive in. Eisenhower out 52 to Manheim and hour 12 to the Jane Addams Tollway. You're right inbound at 54 from I-90 and 32 between Manheim and downtown. Stevenson out 41 to Cicero, the Midway exit. hit 58 to the Tri-State, hour 14 to 355. Delays on 55 north past Weber to 355, and then in spots the county line, heavy spots for the Tri-State to Pulaski as well. 47 in from 355 to DuSable Lakeshore Drive, 30 if you're coming in for the Tri-State. The Dan Ryan is 41 outbound, 19 minutes inbound. Nothing major on 57 or the Bishop Ford. Pretty typical delays on DuSable Lakeshore Drive. No lane blockage issues. From the Metro Traffic Center, next report 418 News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
Thank you with a sense for the rest of what's left of the afternoon. Highs in the 50s, sunshine and clouds. Partly cloudy tonight, a low of 31, and then areas of drizzle tomorrow, Christmas Eve and Christmas Day with highs in the mid-40s. 50 now at O'Hare, 51 Wheeling, 43 Aurora, 51 along the lakefront stocks in the green today. It's 410.
Is your financial advisor offering you up to a 30% upfront bonus? Or are they promising you up to 10% growth per year, all for your retirement income? If not, then you need to come to Trajan Wealth. I'm Jeff Jr., founder of Trajan Wealth. If you have a plan to retire within the next 10 years, don't wait only to find out it's too late. I've seen hardworking folks like you retire only to be required to go back to work, all because their advisor told them guarantees like these were too good to be true. They're not. That's up to $30,000 upfront or up to $10,000 per year on $100,000, all guaranteed for retirement income. Don't keep working when you're supposed to be retired, and don't let any financial advisor tell you it's too good to be true. Call Trajan today, 630-230-7400. That's 630-230-7400.
Annuities, non-advisory products. DBA Trajan Wealth Insurance Solutions. Additional disclosures at TrajanWealth.com.
It is 4:11 tomorrow, Christmas Eve, the last day to visit the famous Chris Kindle Market at Chicago's Daily Plaza, and the crowd was certainly there today.
It was shoulder to shoulder as shoppers snagged last-minute presents ahead of the market's final day.
I've always wanted to do this for many years, and I live in Michigan City, Indiana, and I told my daughter this year, we got to make this happen, and I'm just so happy to be here.
Kathy had her daughter and grandkids in tow, sipping mulled wine out of this year's heart-shaped Chris Kindle mug.
Even though it's very busy, it's just been a very wonderful experience.
Yeah. The beloved holiday market at Daily Plaza will be open from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. Christmas Eve.
I need corn oil. Oil.
The oil's down there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Thank you.
Please place the card into the card reader. Follow the instructions. State your items. Thank you for shopping at
in the last game, and a number of our players would feel the same way and tell you the same thing as well. So that's the fun part of what we do.
Pro Bowl rosters came out today. 3 Bears are on it: Kevin Byard, Joe Tooney, and Drew Dahlman. Basketball, the Bulls have slowly but surely turned things around in the past few weeks. They've gotten a lot healthier, and they have won 3 straight games, trying to make it 4 tonight in Atlanta. You can listen to the game on 670 The Score, starting at 6:30. Hockey, the Blackhawks remain without Connor Bedard. He's out till at least January with a shoulder injury, but they will try to snap their 5-game losing streak tonight at the United Center against Philadelphia. Baseball, a few signings in town, 1 on each side. The Cubs have signed right-handed relief pitcher Jacob Webb to a 1-year deal. He had a 3.0 ERA with Texas last season. And the Sox signing a bullpen arm as well. They've agreed to a 1-year deal with lefty Sean Newcomb. Newcomb with Boston and with the Athletics last year, a 2.73 ERA in 48 appearances. The Pirates have signed first baseman Ryan O'Hearn to a 2-year, $29 million deal. O'Hearn, an all-star for Baltimore last season. And Vikings quarterback J.J. McCarthy has a hairline fracture in his hand. He will miss this week's game against Detroit. With sports at 16:46, I'm 670 The Score's Mike Esposito on News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
All right, Mike, thank you. It is 4:18 now. Traffic sponsored by Mercedes-Benz of Hoffman Estates. With roads, here's Neil Fiorito.
Delays on I-57 on the outbound side now from 159 to 167th. A detached trailer made its way off of a truck here and hit the wall. You're looking at 18 minutes to drive out to I-80. Trouble spot on the tollways along the Tri-State northbound at 290. Crash in the right lane. You're getting by in the 3 left lanes. You are heavy passing Ogden Avenue. Looking over at I-80 on the westbound side from US 30 to Richards. Again, that stalled semi we talked about, all gone now. Northwest Indiana traffic on 8094 westbound through Gary and backups toward the state line as well. To the north along the Edens coming inbound, you're at 23 minutes, 18 to drive out to Lake Cook Road. On the Kennedy, as you make your way outbound, about 40 to get out to Montrose, an hour 3 to the airport. The express lanes moving about the same pace. Coming inbound on the Kennedy, 40 from O'Hare into downtown. On the Eisenhower out to Manheim, expect 52 minutes, an hour 12 to the Jane Addams Tollway. Coming in on the I-54 from I-90, 32 in for Manheim. Stevenson outbound, 48 to Cicero Avenue, an hour 5 to the Tri-State, hour 21 to 355. That is our highest travel time. On the Stevenson coming in, 47, 30 will get you in from 294. On the Dan Ryan, about 40 out, just 16 making your way in. The Bishop Ford looks okay. You saw the Lakeshore Drive traffic on either side in spots between the Gold Coast and Grand Park, and back up southbound, driving into Hyde Park. Pretty standard stuff. Traffic sponsored by Mercedes-Benz of Hoffman Estates. Need a vehicle for equipment or up to 15 passengers? Now is the time for the Section 179 tax deduction. Mercedes-Benz of Hoffman Estates has over 150 Sprinters in stock. Visit MercedesHoffman.com, a proud partner of the Chicago Bears. Next report, 428, News Radio 105.9, WBBM.
For tonight, partly cloudy, then mostly cloudy overnight, a low of 31. That areas of drizzle developing late in the day for Christmas Eve, a high of 45. Kind of the same for Christmas Day. Certainly not a white Christmas this year. 50 at O'Hare, 51 Lakefront. It is 420. Our top story this hour, the Supreme Court will not let President Trump deploy National Guard troops here in Chicago. It's the first time the court has weighed in on his efforts to use the military to enforce immigration laws. Much more on that story coming up at 4:31. Illinois health officials investigating after a Chicago area dog tested positive for rabies.
According to the Illinois Department of Public Health, the dog was the first in the state to test positive for rabies since 1994 and is the first to test positive in Cook County since at least 1964. The dog was euthanized last week after biting someone earlier this month. It tested positive for rabies on December 19th at a Chicago laboratory. The IDPH says the dog had behavior issues throughout his life, which became worse in December. It had been vaccinated for rabies in June. The IDPH is now investigating the source. Carolina Garibay, News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
Sheriff's deputies in Will County caught a man suspected of robbing a gas station very quickly with some help from a family member.
On Sunday around 7:48 p.m., a man walked into the Circle K gas station at 7654 West Lincoln Highway in Frankfort, armed with a knife and saying he also had a gun. He demanded money from the cash register, and when the employee gave it to him, the suspect ran off. As deputies were investigating the crime, a person came forward and said he believed the suspect was a relative who left their home wearing a ski mask. 27-year-old Sufyan Farhan was arrested at the nearby McDonald's while hiding in the woman's bathroom. Deputies recovered a large amount of money from him, and his jacket and a knife were found in a field by the restaurant. I'm Martinez, News Radio.
Big bills, unexpected situations, or the stress of owning a home you no longer want. But here's the good news. You don't need to wait for warmer weather to make a change. At Jeff Buys Your House, we make selling simple, even in the heart of winter. You don't need to fix anything, do any cleaning, and you certainly don't need to worry about unpredictable buyers. We buy houses as is, and you choose the closing date that works best for you. We've made the home selling process easy and stress-free for nearly 2 decades. That's why homeowners trust us, and why we've earned over 400 Google reviews and an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. As a veteran-owned business, we handle everything with integrity and care. So if winter is weighing on you, we are here to help lighten the load. Give us a call at 630-593-7493. That's 630-593-7493 or jeffbuysyourhouse.com. Get your offer today.
423, now business from the PNC Bank Business Desk official, Bank of the Bears, and here's Tom Busby.
If you heat your home with natural gas, get ready to pay a lot more. Nat gas futures surging 11% higher just today. That's after forecast for brutally cold temps to hit the eastern half of the U.S., from Texas to Florida, up to Maine, back to the Midwest by the end of this month. The U.S. economy expanded at a better-than-expected pace of 4.3% in the summer's third quarter. That's according to the Trump Commerce Department. It's thanks mostly to robust consumer spending. Now, even though the Fed's preferred measure of inflation showed an unexpected rise in that same third quarter, and consumer sentiment for December is down for a 5th month in a row,